Okay, hello Zedoses. So I was kind of putting off watching this MV. I've been like queuing it for the last the past 2 days to watch it, but I just haven't gotten like myself ready or prepared to watch this MV because I know it's gonna be again like another like reminiscing over like the time frame that they like had as a group. Because just from the thumbnail too, it's like I think it's giving moments from their tours or moments from like their concerts. So I'm just like, ugh, I'm not ready, but I'm also like interested to see like what the song is gonna sound like. And then obviously I did see, people start posting their last like messages on the special album, so that definitely got me more in my feel. So I was just like, oh, like I'm not ready for this to end. But anyways, we're just gonna go ahead and watch, y'all. Oh, again, there's like that like shadowy like figure representing the boys as a group, like as a whole. Ooh, okay. It kind of reminds me of Into the Bloom. Oh. Ooh. Come on, Matthew. Oh, turning into, oh, I got goosebumps. This was like the start of like boys planet. Now it's turning into a whole like planet of like Zeroses. Oh, there's like more. Bro, that like that hit me like right here. God, like I didn't want to cry, but I'm over here like it hit me like right here, right like in the chest. Oh my god. Yeah, like I think you could definitely see, like I mentioned before in the last video, like the other MV, was it I already forgot the name of the title of the song, but you can definitely see like the shadowy figure like is very much like present in all of the MVs this far, kind of like I said, representing the boys as one like entity, and then it going hand in hand with like the roses, like us being the rose Zeros, right? But I like how with the first MV of like to the future, Run to the Future, that we saw like the beginnings of like every like MV that they did, like behind the scenes of that, and then like I said, more of that with experiencing that. And then the second one, it was like again we saw them but that was more like like I said, like they did it more like an animated way. For they added some sort of animation to all three of them to like tie everything being in one, like basically the same like story that they're, or same message that they're trying to share, which is just like, oh, like, thank you for following us on this journey, like even though it was like a short one, we are forever like grateful for the time that we spent with you, and like vice versa. And just know that this is like just the beginning of a new journey that's gonna happen, and don't think of it as the end, but even though it is technically the end. But I'm just like, oh, like like I said, it does remind me a lot of the of Into the Bloom, where it was like it is like meaningful, and then like, it has like the softer parts, but then it gets back into like that like fast paced like techno part, because like with Into the Bloom it was like no 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 money and then and then that's the part where it speeds up. It kind of is here again with the same thing, where it's like it's softer at the beginning and then it gets to that point and then it like builds up, and it's kind of like reminiscing, or kind of like throwing it back to the beginning of where they started. So I like that they ended the album off, or they ended it off with this song, because it's like, oh, like it does very much reminisce of Into the Bloom, like same kind of style, like song wise. But with that in mind, like with them doing it more so with the images of it being, from their Right Here and Now tour, which is like the most latest tour. And they do still have their finale like encores coming up. I think one of them is in, obviously, in Seoul, and the other one's I think is in maybe in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. I think is what they have, those two. Or I don't know how many tours each, how many shows each of them are gonna get, but those are coming up soon. So it's kind of like I said, like they just finished that tour, but they still have, still, you still have that to look forward to, even though like it's basically like the end of an era. And with that in mind, also with like the messages that they shared in the album, I'm just like, oh, like it does make me sad. It really makes me sad, because I really did like them as a group and dynamic. And we, like I said, I don't know if this means like, we honestly don't know what's gonna happen until they end up dropping like the announcement of like, oh, like they're wrapping up their promotion, like their promotions as a group as a whole, or like, oh, like these like we suspect the Yehua members are gonna get taken back to Yehua and debut in another group, which I don't think it's gonna be right away. I think it's gonna take some time to like prepare all that, obviously, because they have to like get the ZB1 members for the Yehua line and the even boys in sync in that aspect, and like get them to like mesh well, right? To experience, like, before they finally do that. But we don't know what's gonna happen to the other members, like we don't know what's gonna happen to Matthew or Hanbin, or what's it called, or Tere. We don't know, or Jiwoon. We don't know if they're gonna make their own unit, or they're gonna go back to their own companies. Like we really don't know what's gonna happen there. And like I said, I would want them to do it that way if they had to, but I'm also like, because I really don't. Some of the companies, like specifically, like today going back to Wake One, I'm just like, ugh, like he's still gonna be stuck with Wake One. But for like Gunwoo going back to Jellyfish, because like Jellyfish, they don't really have any, like, I feel like they don't really, or maybe they do have trainees, but they don't really have like any other group except for because Even's the one's like under Jellyfish, right? And then I think Vixu left a long time ago. Who don't they have someone else? Oh, they still have Very Very technically, right? But they just started giving Very Very attention again after Kyungmin went on Boys Planet. So like, they had their like promotions for their thing. So I'm trying to see like what they would do with the members afterwards, because like I said, it just makes me sad, because when they do the survival shows and they end up going back to their either if they had a group before, or if they go back to their companies and like form a new group, for the most part you see a little bit of success in like the first few years, but then after a while you kind of see it kind of dwindle down and die down, because it's not the same dynamic that they had as a group together. Like, especially when it comes to like the having had the fans vote for them, and like it just they mesh so well together in that group, and then it's not the same with a new group. When they debut again in a new group, it's just not the same, and you don't see the same, I feel you don't see the same success that they achieved as a whole before that, so that just me thinking that far ahead in mind, it just like I said, it just makes me like a little bit sad, because I just I want to see them do well, even if they are separate, but I always know that's not the case, just because there's always so many groups debuting, and I just don't think it has the same impact as they were, you know, as they will be when they were ZB1, if that makes sense. But either way, like I said, I really did, you know, enjoy the song. I really enjoyed the message. I really loved how they really went more of the sentimental route for this, as being like the final album, final like special album for the group. And you know, kind of like I said, it being just solely like a message to like the fans, and maybe just to the fans and also to themselves, that you know, it's not the end. Like, you will see us again, hopefully, and you know, just follow us in that new journey that we will be having to go through. And you know, just don't forget that they were at one point were this group that, you know, we were really were just great, right? But anyways, like I said, I don't know if they're gonna. I feel like I don't know if they're gonna do promotions for this. If they do, like, I will be checking out some of the stages, because I would love to see that. But I feel like, I don't know, like, it's just always iffy for like for the last couple of months for what's it called, a temp group or a project group, survival show group, right? But either way, I'm glad, you know, I got to like, even though I did get into them a little bit later, like maybe a couple months after they did into Bloom. I think I got into them a little bit later than everyone else, like a little bit later than most people who were following them from Boys Planet. But I'm so glad, you know, I got to like experience standing them as a group, even though like I really should. You think I would learn with one from being a Wannable that it's gonna be the same thing, but you know, you just can't help but hope to have like that maybe the system will change at some point. I think that's what it is, and that's why we end up falling for the group, because they just also like, it's just the music's so good, the dynamic is so good that you just can't help but fall for the members in the group as a whole. But yeah, like I said, I will still like cherish it, like experiencing it, and like I said, I still will end up listening to the music maybe a couple like for a year or so, or a couple months afterwards. But I feel like after a while, like I do get, it does make me a little bit tearful and a little bit sad to like that you like, oh, like the music was so good and then they're not together anymore. But we'll see what happens, y'all. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and we'll see if I see you in the next one. Zeros is.